Wings is
Wings of Redemption. One of the most iconic faces in all of the internet. From his humble upbringing as a Call of Duty commentator.
Oh man, I'm back and I'm here to save you from some dull commentary. It's your boy Wings of Redemption.
To his infamy.
Look here! Look, listen! Why? And like all people want to do is fuck me.
Just go and ban anybody that says this. Webby, fucking leave, dude. My life sucks. My life sucks. Oh my lord, dude. Like everything that can go wrong goes wrong for me.
I turned the only interest I had in life into my job.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Whatever. I hope your family dies in an automobile wreck.
But now, for the first time in years, Wings will fight. Fight for redemption.
残酷な天使のように少年よ神話になれ青い風が今胸のドアを叩いても私だけをただ見つめて微笑んでるあなたそっとくれるもの求めることに夢中で運命さえまだ知らない痛いけな瞳だけどいつか気づくでしょうその背中にはための羽があること残酷な天使の手で窓辺からやがて飛び立つほとばしる熱いパトスで思い出を裏切るならこの空を抱いて輝く少年よ神話になれ
Now, I know that if you're watching this, you probably already know who Wings of Redemption is. But for the well-adjusted members of society out there, let me explain. Wings of Redemption was a Call of Duty commentator in the early days of YouTube. Back in the glory days, in which you could just talk through your headset mic and be one of the most popular people on the platform. He gained a large following off of his controversial takes. The downfall of his career started following his now infamous 1v1 against Syndicate, in which he rage quit after having his ass handed to him by a zombies player.
Wings, did you spawn in?
I broke my controller.
You broke your controller?
Yeah, keep fucking laughing, you fucking faggot.
Oh, Wings, I know who you are. I know it's
Oh, don't fucking
days.
suck. Fucking faggot. Fucking shit. Fuck! Why the fuck you stream that shit?
It was your idea.
No, I didn't say stream it.
The situation wasn't helped at all by the fact that Wings tried to stage another fight, just so that way he could gain back his reputation, which of course didn't happen. But as we all know, that wouldn't be the end for Wings. His channel was still doing well, although it was beginning to fizzle out. He still had his podcast, Painkiller Already. PKA was hosted by Wings of Redemption, along with fellow content creators Woody, aka Woody's Gamertag, as well as Kyle, aka FPS Kyle, aka FPS Russia. The podcast was very successful, and would continue to grow throughout the 2010s. But one day, Wings made a decision he would always regret. Kyle and Woody had agreed to go on a camping trip with Wings. However, while Woody and Kyle showed up, Wings was notably absent.
Be a winner, not a loser. Be a doer, not a don'ter. You know,
Very Henry Rollins-esque, yeah.
Yeah, this sort of talk, you know, and he just doesn't fucking come. He just doesn't fucking come. And it's now it's just me and Woody in the woods. Now it's just kind of weird.
It got gay.
It got gay. It's like I hope nobody sees me and this 40-year-old man just driving off
practically
into the dark.
a pedophile with Kyle.
Yeah.
Wings had abandoned his friends and left them to have an awkward two-man camping trip. As you might expect, they did not like that at all. And so because of that, they kicked him off the podcast. I repeat, this man was kicked off his own podcast because he couldn't be bothered to get off his fat ass. And so just like that, Wings had lost all his friends, lost a significant portion of his income, and his channel was slowly dying. So he had to start streaming just to make ends meet. This livestream era of Wings turned him from a controversial commentator into a lol cow. So just to quickly recap some of the things that happened, there was of course the infamous look here, look listen incident.
Look here! Look, listen! Appearing offline does not fucking stop it. So stop giving fucking advice you know nothing about.
Wings got mad at a child.
Bro, look here, look, listen, bro. We need a bottle.
No, I'm team killing you right the fuck now. I don't give a shit. I'm team killing you now.
Wanted people to die.
I'm just trolling you, chill. It's not the
Whatever. I hope your family dies in an automobile wreck.
What? Who the fuck says that?
I say that because you're a fucking piece of shit.
And at the end of the day, he would just go home and cry.
I wanted it so fucking bad. I just can't do it. I can't take this shit no more, man. All I wanted to do was, like, I was fucking lonely. I wanted to just fucking stream and have a good time, man. Have a good game. I hate my life.
His toxic personality on camera led to the creation of an entire community solely dedicated to trolling the man. Now most of the trolls, they just wanted to see him get angry, while others were trying to hurt the man in any way possible. Like the time they banned him on Twitch, or the time they got him fired from DoorDash, even further reducing his income. If I wanted to cover everything that happened during this time, the video would be like 3 hours long. So, the most important thing you need to take away from this is that this man has been constantly trolled for several years now. I made a video on Wings just under a year ago, and I would be lying if I said it was any good. So I'll just quickly recap it. Basically, Wings got exposed by his neighbors, exposed by the New York Times, and Bernie Gores was arrested for supplying a Serbian mass shooter with illegal firearms. So now that we're all caught up with the lore, it's time to talk about everyone's favorite thing in the world, infidelity. So, Wings of Redemption. He's married. Yeah, how does that one feel? Wings has a wife and you don't even have the balls to talk to a real woman. So anyways, his wife Kelly, as you could imagine, being married to a 425-pound streamer who just sits in his room all day being depressed and playing video games isn't exactly gonna lead to a happy marriage. Especially if the only reason they got married was for insurance benefits, but that's neither here nor there. And so Kelly started talking to other men on the internet. Here are two of the conversations. Basically, she's annoyed with both him and the trolls. Basically, Wings isn't listening to her, he never takes her advice, and stuff like that. Even if it would benefit his streams, like playing games that people actually want to see. In these conversations, she makes a few revelations. One of them being that Wings doesn't like streaming. He has no ambition, no motivation, nothing. The only reason he streams is because he doesn't think that he can make money working a normal job. He claims he can make more money doing streaming, and that the trolls are gonna fire him from whatever job he gets, which isn't exactly an unfounded fear. On Snapchat, Kelly revealed that she and Wings are still virgins, because I quote, "He is too big." Kelly was also caught following not safe for work accounts, which means dudes showing their dick on camera. So as you can tell, this isn't exactly the most happy marriage in the world. When all of this stuff came out, it was believed that the divorce saga was finally here. But fortunately, that saga never came. And to be fair, they do look quite happy. At least in public. Of course, if you don't count that one time Wings stayed home to play Dark Souls instead of going to his gangsta grandma's funeral.
Okay. I think we need to go.
No, I'm good.
Okay, well then you at least need to get off and talk to me.
But across the country, things weren't looking too great. Boogie2988 is a Reddit mod who loves Mountain Dew, and getting pissed.
Where's my Mountain Dew?
What are you talking about, man?
No, where's my Mountain Dew? I keep it in the microwave.
No, you have
Do you see my glass? I'm raiding in here, and I don't have any Mountain Dew.
He originally rose to fame through his Francis persona, who, like I said, loves Mountain Dew and getting pissed.
Can't fucking quit! You can't fucking quit! You can't fucking quit!
As the years went on, Boogie slowly retired Francis. Instead, he would make a variety of content, ranging from game reviews to commentaries on his most personal struggles.
It was something that was very, very difficult for my wife to handle. It was something very, very difficult for me to handle. And it pretty much was this constant wedge just right between us from the day we met to the day we separated.
His honesty and vulnerability really resonated with the fans. He talked about his battles with obesity and mental health issues. However, because he was sharing these problems out publicly, that made him a target for the trolls. And just like Wings, Boogie was a certified lol cow. But despite the trolling, Boogie was doing pretty well. The channel was still getting pretty good views. However, it would be a series of terrible financial decisions that would leave him pretty much completely broke. For example, he took out a loan on a Tesla, and then went underwater on that loan, which means that his interest is worth more than the car, as well as buying a bunch of crypto. Originally, he bought it at the right time, and made a bunch of money from it. Because of his newfound wealth, he started putting less work into his channels, and uploads started to slow down. However, his investment reaching the moon wasn't enough for him. A man like Boogie had diamond hands, and he wanted to see this investment through to the very end. And so when crypto went back down to the moon again, he pretty much lost all his money. He then made a return to YouTube, and basically just pity streamed so people would send him money. Kinda like Wings.
Do you like the t-shirts I have? This one's not in the merch lane shop yet, but there's several, and I'm making new designs all the time. And if you like a t-shirt, buy a t-shirt. I make like a $9 profit off of a $25 purchase.
Another similarity with Wings is that Boogie too had his own character arcs. For example, there was the warning shot incident. One day, a stalker decided to go to Boogie's house. The stalker in question was a man named Frank Hassel, who was a former YouTuber who basically just went around harassing random people. In terms of comedy, he was basically a more extreme version of Sam Hyde. In this case, he was harassing and threatening Boogie over his channel getting terminated, something of which Boogie was advocating for. Boogie, however, was not willing to see him, and so he went out onto his porch brandishing a revolver. The stalker then egged him on to fire a warning shot, you know, because apparently that's supposed to scare him off. To which Boogie then fired his warning shot.
Fire the warning shot now.
And by the way, warning shots are stupid. It wastes a shot and gives the other person an advantage in a fight. And it's especially true in this case, since Boogie was using a revolver. The other reason why it's stupid is because the bullet has to come down at some point, like on the soft spot of a baby's head. Because of the incident, Boogie was arrested for shooting the gun in city limits. Because of all of this, Boogie racked up thousands of dollars in legal fees, even further increasing his financial strain. Now, fast forward to 2022. Boogie wants to box. And so he was working with Keemstar in order to set up a match. But who would his opponent be? Alright, we got Sam Hyde, Review Tech USA, Murr from Impractical Jokers. The question was long debated, until one day, one of the trolls had a brilliant idea. Wings of Redemption. We're doing Wings of Redemption. And so a campaign was launched to get Wings in the ring with Boogie. And then one day,
I would beat the brakes off that boy.
Later on a Twitter thread, Boogie would respond to Wings' challenge. And then Keemstar himself appeared with a promise to make it happen. The fight was now on. This was far from Wings' first fight. As previously mentioned, he lost his fight with Syndicate. But hey, at least he beat the weight loss surgery and gained back all the weight. Behind the scenes, there was a lot of work that needed to get done for this fight to happen. The site was being set up through Keemstar and his company Happy Punch, which was partnering with Misfits Boxing, which is owned by KSI. Happy Punch is in charge for the prelims, which if you don't know are the free fights before the main event, in order to promote the pay-per-view. In this case, KSI versus Fournier. There were a couple things that needed to be done in order to make this fight happen. First off, both of the fighters needed to pass their medicals, which for two guys weighing 400 pounds was a big concern. Then the boxing authority needed to officially sanction the fight. And if sanctioned, this would be the heaviest official boxing match in history. Nothing happened for a few months, but then Keemstar confirmed that Happy Punch was in fact in talks with Boogie and Wings. Each of them had just over 2 months to prepare for the fight. Boogie immediately got to work, and Boogie was sure to make his progress public.
It's going out to you, Jordie. You know, I tried to box Ethan Ralph, but he's too fat. And I tried to box Sam Hyde, but he would have just killed me. But you, Jordie, I think I can knock you out in round 1, son.
And with this training came significant weight loss. But good old Jordie J just stayed home and played Diablo, while Boogie was doing this.
Come on, let's go! Come on, Jordie! Come on, come on! Come on, Jordie!
Wings was also refusing to even talk about the fight, really. That is, unless he has a contract signed. Because by this point, they were only in talks for the fight.
I don't want to talk about the fight until I got a contract. So, like, it's not that I'm not down to promote it or whatever. I'm just waiting until there's a contract in place.
Come on, Jordie. What's the matter, huh? Are you chicken?
But despite being behind Boogie in training, Wings was confident he would be the victor.
You know, I'm facing a guy that's literally like 15 years my senior. He's been on disability 20% of his life, and he has the only thing he's ever beaten in his life has probably been his meat. So when I go ahead and beat Boogie, you guys want me to go ahead and call out Dark Side of Phil for a fight?
And Wings does bring up a lot of good points here. Boogie has never been in a fight in his entire life, and Wings has a significant age advantage. But you know what they say, it's not about the size of the dog in the fight, it's about the size of the fight in the dog. And Boogie has more dog in him than a Chinese street market.
Come on, Jordie!
Boogie would continue uploading his training, and Wings would be there to criticize said training, basically saying that his training won't actually prepare him for the fight.
Because, like, there's one thing about this video that Boogie is not factoring in, right? Play it again. That thing don't punch back. It doesn't move. It ain't got a jab. And it's also not going to be aggressive against him. And 25 seconds in, he's done. All I have to do is get into his hands, parry his fucking right, because he's right-handed. You can tell by the way he's leaning on his right leg. Like, he's literally leaning with his right arm, fighting southpaw with a southpaw stance. Parry his fucking right. Let the left do what he fucking wants to do, and uppercut him right in his third chin. Take that bitch right back to the bank. He's gonna have to improve a lot in 5 weeks for me to be stressed about him. He's gonna improve a lot.
Just before that clip I just showed you, Wings accidentally leaked his Twitter DMs with Keemstar and showed that the fight payout was going to be $10,000, which was a lot less than he said he would box Boogie for.
How much are you thinking?
100K at least.
In the troll community, there was a lot of concern that Wings would drop out of the fight and be a no-show, just like the camping trip. At around this time, hype for the fight really started to pick up, with Boogie extensively promoting it on his channel.
You listen to me, Jordie Jordan, we're gonna get into that ring and you're gonna show your little side to sides and you're gonna do your little ups and downs and you're gonna show me how much more mobile you are than me, Jordie.
As well as some more mainstream attention. By this point, both fighters were well into training, and it was around this time that the contracts were officially signed, with Keemstar going to each of their houses. This gave us a closer look into what their training was like, as well as the skill level that they were standing at. All this was a part of Keemstar's own documentary on the fight, which I would highly suggest watching if you want a little bit more behind the scenes information on the fight. For now, I'll just show you a few clips from interviews he did with the fighters.
Why are you doing this fight? Why did you agree to it?
You want the honest answer?
Yeah.
The honest answer is savings. Like, I want my savings is not where I want it to be, and I want more money to put into saving.
It's taken every ounce of character and strength I have to actually go through with this. My brain is constantly telling me, this is dangerous, this is scary, back out, back out, back out. There's no backing out, right? I'm going through with it, and when I go through with it, I hope I earn some community respect, but I think the respect that I'm really going to earn is mine. That's who needs to learn a little bit of respect.
Moment of truth. Boogie's got the contract. All legal shit. I don't even know what any of this said. The dog's excited. I get paid if I sign this. That's what I get. That's what I get paid. It's happening! For all you that said Wings of Redemption ain't gonna do it, it's getting done!
And with the contract signing, he is legally obligated to go to London to fight Boogie. There's no backing out of it now.
Did you pass your medicals?
Yeah, I passed.
Yes! Did you pass your medicals?
I passed my medicals.
You passed!
Yes, eye doctor approved. Doctor approved. We got it.
Judging by the training footage, it definitely looks like Wings has the upper hand in this fight.
Oh shit!
He has far more dexterity in his arms, and can throw stronger punches, in addition to actually knowing how to punch, unlike Boogie. While Wings was training off camera, Boogie was still promoting the fight on his channel. He talked about the struggles of just getting a fight to begin with, him risking expensive medical bills, his extensive health problems, and proving that he can face his fears.
Aren't you a 49-year-old man? Aren't you 400 pounds? Aren't you literally disabled by the United States government because you have a fused disc and arthritis in your knees? Don't you have polycythemia? Don't you have an enlarged heart? Don't you have asthma? And I just want to say to that person, yes to all of that. All of that is true. That is all true.
The weeks leading up to the fight had much more training from the fighters, with Boogie continuing to train his punches, and Wings focusing on losing weight. The training for the fight had brought the fighters to their lightest weight in years. Even Wings was trying to get to 380 before the fight. But most of the training was done off camera. Boogie, on the other hand, was sure to make his training very public. You know, for that YouTube bag. In his training footage, we can see a lot of problems in his fighting style. For one, when he throws a punch, he's only using his arms, where he should be using his entire body. By only using his arms to throw a punch, he is significantly disadvantaged when it comes to strength. When comparing it to Wings' training footage, it paints a clear picture that Boogie is definitely the underdog in this fight. Whether it's natural talent, genes, or just superior training, Wings is able to deliver much stronger punches, and is able to move around much more quickly than Boogie. And for that reason, he became the favorite to win the fight. But as we all know, you can't have a great story without tragedy. Just 10 days before the fight, Wings had to take his cat Rocco to the vet. Testing concluded that Rocco was suffering from kidney failure and didn't have long to live, and so unfortunately, he had to be put down. Unfortunately, this is a sad reality every pet owner has to go through. Losing a best friend will take its toll on anyone, and that's without the added stress of having to train to fight overseas. If there's one thing that people don't realize about Wings, it's that he has a lot of pets. He has 2 dogs named Bongo and Bailey, as well as another cat called Grayson. So to Wings, this was like losing one of his children. So while it's easy to laugh at the man and clown on his suffering, it's important to remember that at the end of the day, he's human too. But because of this, he fell behind on his training, being unable to go under 400 pounds in time for the fight, on top of the extra mental burden going into the fight, which was only coming closer and closer. Less than a week after the death of Rocco, Wings had arrived in London, and almost immediately started complaining about British food. Boogie arrived not too long after. I'm not sure what exactly they did in London on the 10th, other than more training and sightseeing, I guess. Then on the 11th, we had the press conference. And honestly, I'll just let it speak for itself.
Did you drink it? Did you drink it? Did you drink my Mountain Dew? Did you drink it? Did you? You're a big man. You're a big man. Son, do not make it. I'm further promise. Do not. You got enough of that. Okay? Everybody get Take your shirt off, champ. You're a joke. No.
Starts off.
You deserve.
Starts off.
You deserve the phrase.
Flex on him.
Oh my God.
Every day.
Flex on him.
I have actual fans out there. You know who watches you? People watch you to laugh. That's who watches you. I have actual fans in this audience right now.
Okay. Yeah. Where are they sponsors at?
Huh? I don't need them, Jordie. I don't live in a fucking trailer. I don't live in a fucking trailer. I don't need a sponsor.
In the days leading up to the event, the hype was building.
Like, don't tell KSI, but Wings vs. Boogie is why I bought a fucking flight from shit-ass country.
I was going to say, I was wrong. I want to be clear about that because I really did not think he was going to go through with it.
You know, I actually
is there
have,
any
I have a
possibility
speech.
of this fight being anything other than total Wings victory or Boogie being kind of, injured badly?
Oh, Hammond's got him against the ropes, putting on tons of pressure here.
John Lewis and Gareth Morris all scored the bout 30-23. And your winner by unanimous decision, Boss Man from the corner shop.
Well, I mean, there we go. Louise coming in. Oh, strong, strong return by Callum.
Nice right hand by Callum. Poppy Louise staying in the game.
Oh, caught him again. Oh, another spin move.
Wow. And your winner by split decision, the one, the only Oomban!
Oh my God!
The fight was just mere minutes away, and what better time than to sing the national anthem extremely poorly.
Or the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
Either the crowd's booing because he's never sang before in his life, or they're just sore losers. Boogie was the first to emerge, to riding dirty no less. Donning the exact same shirt, he fired the warning shot in, just before having it ripped off his body, and the man boobs exposed. But Wings was much more classy. Otherwise, we might have had to censor those man titties of his. With both of them in the ring, with the UK's very own referee Heisenberg, the fight could now begin.
We've come a long way, haven't we, Richard?
Just for that, I'll beat the brakes off you, boy.
Remember, Jordie, this isn't about victory, nor defeat.
In your dreams. Time to give the crowd a fight. They'll never forget.
Locked in over there. He's ready to throw. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Right off the bat, Wings is. Wings connecting with the immediate pressure by Wings.
And Boogie taking a step back.
Oh my gosh. He is putting a clinic.
These boys have some heavy hands.
Look here, why is the fight being stopped?
You're a fool. What do you get when you combine clothes and weight loss?
You know, we've heard the term saved by the bell, but Boogie has been saved by the shorts. The shorts kept falling. This could have been a strategy by Boogie, man.
With my strength restored, you stand no chance.
Here we go.
Wings just patiently waiting. Oh my gosh!
They're going for it. And they're going for it.
The end of the first round. My opponent, unable to land a punch. He is weak, but his will prevails. He will fight until the very end.
He's got to get that Hail Mary punch in.
Boogie's got to face him. There we go. He's just walking into the punches there. At least he's throwing a couple.
Even after all that, he's still standing. Only now on the cusp of victory do I realize this is bigger than the money. This is bigger than beating up a 50-year-old man. This is about a new beginning. Maybe the real bizarre adventure was the friends we made along the way.
There it is. That was the right call from the ref. That was the right call from the ref.
Boogie protesting a little bit.
Only in defeat do you learn the real friend was the bizarre adventure along the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, the official time, 33 seconds of round number 2. Referee Seamus Dunn stops the contest, and therefore your winner, Wings of Redemption.
Wings of Redemption. Undefeated boxer. We all had our doubts that the pimp would be able to move around for longer than a minute at any given time. But fortunately, we were surprised that day. On the way back to the locker rooms, Boogie decided to give an interview. Obviously, he wasn't happy with the referee's decision to end the fight early, and was pretty salty about it. But Boogie was not a sore loser. He congratulated him, and he was proud of both Wings and himself.
But goddamn it, that ref took that last minute and a half of me. I didn't give a shit about winning. I gave a shit about making it to the end.
You felt like you definitely could have made it.
I know I could have.
Wings are behind you.
I look like I have my noggin rock right now?
Wings.
I was fucking fine.
And your opponent Wings as well.
Yeah,
all full respect to him, right, as well?
Of course, man. You know, Wings, I'll be honest, Wings rocks my shit. We had the same amount of time.
That was awesome, bro. That was amazing. Good job.
We had the same amount of time to prepare. He did better. He did more. Talk about Wings of Redemption. That man deserves his fucking redemption.
And are we going to see you back in the ring?
110%. And this time I'll actually be fucking ready. God damn it, I'm going home and I'm doing the fucking work.
He also wants to continue boxing, even suggesting the next opponent.
Airsoft Fatty. That's who I want to fight.
Any message to True Jordie? What did he say to you yesterday?
Hey, Jordie, I'm fucking proud of you, man. Honest to God, we had the same amount of time to prepare for this, and you did infinitely better. I don't give a fuck that you're younger. I don't give a fuck that any of this shit. You rock my fucking world, and I'm fucking proud of you, dude. I hope to work with you again.
Boogie, you proud of yourself?
Yeah, hell yeah.
He also gave an extra exit interview. Of course, he's still hating on the referee's call.
Pretty upset with the ref for calling that. I definitely do not see what he saw. I mean, I know it was a bit of a shit show early on, but you could tell that Jordie was starting to get I literally clipped his wings, and there was a very real possibility I was easily going to make it to the end there. But even if I wasn't, I would rather have gotten knocked out and made it as close to the end as I could. I think it's ridiculous that he called it there.
And he also says that he's happy to just be healthy enough to fight and survive, which for a land whale like Boogie, that's a huge accomplishment.
I never thought in a million years I would step into a boxing ring. 6 years ago when I was in a wheelchair on a mark cart, everything I did, I never thought I'd even be able to stand up long enough in there. I made it a round and a half. I was able to take it. I could have gone a lot further, and I really wish I had, but that doesn't take away from the fact that I have really turned things around, and I'm proud to have done it.
And he also said that if given the opportunity, he would take on Wings again.
I'm proud of Jordie. I love my opponent right now. I'm so filled with joy. I can't imagine not wanting to come back and do this again. I hope there's an opponent out. I'll fight Jordie again. Give me a chance to train. Give me a chance to lose some weight. Give me a chance to get closer to his level and his skill level. And let's do it again.
Eventually, in the days following the fight, he would eventually accept that ending the fight was the right call. Because just look at this scorecard. And eventually, after getting settled back in the United States, he returned to his normal life, a healthier and happier man. Now, going back to Wings, after his newfound boxing success, he also gave an interview. He revealed he was nervous, anxious, and exhausted for pretty much the entire fight.
Oh, it felt really good, but I was so nervous and I was exhausted.
He also talked more about his training, which from what it sounds like, was much better than Boogie's.
But I had very good coaching in Paul Bamba. Foxy G helped me out with videos before I even got over to London, trying to work on my form, trying to work on the jab. We had a game plan going in to work the jab hard. and break his defense, so we end up breaking the defense real early.
He also said what we're all thinking, and that Boogie was pretty much knocked out at the first punch. But despite that, he was impressed by Boogie and his ability to stay up for as long as he did.
I honestly, I think his bell was rung real early on. I didn't really think he knew where he was at for a large portion of the fight. But like he was an Iron Man in there, man. Like he is so tough, so strong.
He may return to boxing someday, but for now he said he's going to think about it with his wife. But what he has been trying to get was a reunion on PKA.
Like I said, I'm going to have to touch that base at a later date because it's not just me in the ring, it's me and my wife. And it's something we have to discuss as a couple because like she's just as much in that ring as I am.
A couple final things for me. Look, I heard Harley said that you were asking for a PK reunion. Is that correct?
Hopefully we get one popping.
Yeah. I mean, Carl didn't really think that you wouldn't win, so I guess you surprised them too.
Yeah, hopefully. I hope they watched. They should have did a stream reaction.
Finally, he dedicated this fight to Rocco, and was even on the verge of tears while he did it.
Big ups to Big Rocco, man. Like, for those of y'all know, my cat died a week before this, and I was in pieces, and like I missed 3-4 days of training because of that. And Rocco, this is for you, buddy.
Was there part of this that this was a good little distraction away from that, so you can take your mind away from it?
100%. I mean, I'm tearing up now, man. I love my cat. Yeah.
Upon his return to the modular mansion of Conway, Wings had his most lucrative stream ever, raking in over $2,500 in donations. The man was living it up in the modular mansion. Even the Pikachu doll he put up to hide the fact he's missing a doorknob was having a good time. While on stream, Wings was making the most of his redemption, and even planned to keep going. Wings set a weight loss goal of 350 pounds, from which he would then make his return to boxing.
Like, I don't want to fight again at 400 pounds. Like, it's an experience of itself, right? But I much prefer to fight like 350 or 340. So like I'm hoping that the next next thing I miss the next card, and then I jump on the card after that, which would give me like 4 months to get that weight off and fight at 350. That's what I'm hoping to do.
As a matter of fact, he weighed less on the first stream than he did at the weigh-in.
396.6.
And then he also talked about PKA. He wanted an in-person reunion.
And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go on PKA tonight. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, tell Kyle that I want to have a PKA reunion.
Okay. No, I wanted that. I wanted to. I want it more than Wings.
Maybe I was like, oh really? I was like, really? He's like, yeah. He was like, tell Kyle. I was like, okay.
Which would have been awesome. But just one small problem. The no-life stoner and convicted felon didn't want to leave his house. Weed in prison really changed him. Wings would also double down on Kyle and basically call him a no-life who pretty much just sits on his ass all day and plays Rust with 14-year-olds.
Kyle's in the same position I was in for a long time. Kyle's at the point when once he got out of prison, he doesn't do anything. When you don't do anything, you have nothing to tell. And your job depends on you being entertaining, right? You don't have any stories, which I got a story I'm about to tell right here in a minute that's going to be fucking great. But you don't have any stories, you don't have any life experiences, you're not going and doing anything. Like, Kyle could be making a killing right now with FPS Russia. Like, even without guns, right? Get your fucking password back. I sat in your house and you told me so many amazing stories about things that happened during shoots on FPS Russia. You could write a fucking book. You could sit down in front of a Ring camera and a webcam and have a complete vlogging channel and never have to leave your house, and you could be making scratch. There's so many stories Kyle could tell, and he just doesn't do it. Like, he just smokes weed and plays Rust.
Because of this first stream back, the PKA subreddit pretty much became a Wings fan page for a while, and completely turned on Kyle. And this newfound hatred was further emboldened by the fact that their guest after the fight was Finster. I'm not kidding. But in their defense, guests are scheduled months in advance, so maybe we'll see Wings on soon. But as for the in-person reunion, the stoner's not going to want to leave his house, so I wouldn't put your money on it. And while we're on the topic of podcasts, Keemstar had an idea to create a lolcow podcast. Simply put it, he would handle the business side of things, whether it's sponsors, advertising, whatever. As for the host, of course he had to get Boogie and Wings. However, he also had a third host in mind, Darkside Phil. Now, obviously DSP is his own can of worms that we don't have time for today, but just trust me when I say this, he's as bad, if not worse, than both Wings and Boogie combined. Of course, the plans ended up getting scrapped, because Dick Stroke and Phil over here will never put any effort into actually growing his brand. Instead, relying on the same few people sending him money every month. And because unlike Wings and Boogie, he'll never give in to the memes. Because as we all know, the term lolcow is not full of positivity. In fact, it is quite degrading.
Okay? You know, one of the things discussed was that they figured I don't want to call it the lolcow cast. Yeah, I don't want to be involved in anything that makes fun of us, degrades us, or makes us feel like shit, and calling us lolcows does that. If we're going to start our own show, it should be a fun show. It's different to have a little bit of self-teasing. It's another thing to make an entire show fully degrading and catering to trolls. I don't want to be involved in it.
Now, considering this is coming from the guy who jerked off on stream and spends thousands of dollars on a WWE mobile game, you can be the judge of that. So of course, they needed a third host. Someone who is as entertaining as possible and could balance the views of the other hosts. Of course, we haven't gotten much information lately on it, and so whether or not the podcast will come to fruition is up in the air. I'll be sure to update you guys if anything new comes from this. Now, let's talk about the trolls. Following Wings' victory, all the troll channels began overdosing on copium. Some channels like Wings007 stopped uploading, or started uploading less frequently, while others just vanished off the internet, like Wingstings, who's probably the most extreme troll out there. He stopped uploading and left the internet after Wings arrived in London, and apparently that's because he's facing a criminal investigation, because somehow he didn't have anything better to do in his life than to swat a fat guy on the internet. If this is true, it's pretty depressing. On the more mainstream side of things, they just resorted to calling him a pedophile, like they've been doing for years. More specifically, Wings007 and Mr. YOLO Dick Swagger. This guy named Mazetic made a video on it, and I'll link it down below if you want to learn more about this situation in particular. But to sum it up, most of the evidence against Wings is either decade-old podcast footage he said for shock value.
I mean, I've seen some of these Call of Duty girls naked, and they're underage.
That constitutes child porn, but these...
Because believe it or not, offensive content drives engagement, or just dumb things he said on stream.
I did say the age of consent should be 12. You know why I said that? I knew girls that were like 12, 13, 14, fucking on the regular. It has nothing to do with me being a pedophile.
Now I know, it may sound really bad that Wings of Redemption wants the age of consent to be 12, and that is correct. Now, with the amount of supposed evidence against him, would it not make sense to report this all to the police? Now I know, everyone's out there trying to get the attention they crave, but if the evidence was truly damning, would the police not want this information? And again, it's already likely been sent to the police. Now, I'm not defending any of the stuff he said, because it's pretty gross, let's be honest here. But there is a burden of proof that needs to be established before you can just call someone a pedophile. So now, with the troll channels dying, and with public support on Wings' side, things were looking up. This was the redemption, over a decade in the making. And then, well, nothing. After the initial high of the boxing match, Wings didn't really do much. He's already gone back to the pity streams of the past, albeit with a lot more optimism than usual. Donations slowly returned to their normal levels, and Wings didn't really capitalize off his boxing success. For Wings, life just continues on like nothing happened, and that needs to stop. We know Wings hates streaming. We know it's not good for his marriage. Wings has got to change, or else he'll be doing something that he hates for the rest of his life. If he wants to be remembered for anything other than being the fat guy people bully online, he needs to turn his life around and earn his name. Wings has so many opportunities open to him now, whether it's continuing on with boxing and losing weight, or the possibility of the LOLcow podcast. Wings needs to take every opportunity he can. For Wings, the next few months are going to be make or break for him. Either he will continue to be the depressed pity streamer we know him as, or he'll move on with that, and take steps to improve his life. Wings has a chance, for the first time in years, to turn his life around. And so now, he's just left with a choice. Will he take the opportunities given to him, or will history repeat itself? Will Richard ever find his redemption? Will Boogie ever find the Mountain Dew? And will they return to the ring? Tune in next week on Wings of Redemption.
You can't rest now. He is here.
Oh, the camera's on. The camera's been on the whole time, huh? I need that money. I really do. I need that money.
Pay my bills. The electric bill. The internet bill.
Together.
Look here! Look, listen! Yeah, whatever. I hope your family dies an automobile wreck. Webby, fucking leave, dude!
Where's my Mountain Dew? I keep it in the microwave!
I'm banning anybody trying to give me advice. Real talk. I did say the age of consent should be 12. You know why I said that?